Sports 1, the Wigan Warriors against the Bradford Bulls. One of perhaps the games of the season waiting for us here as Robbie Paul leads out the league leaders to a ground where they haven't had much success over the years. Their last victory here in January 1988 in the league. But they arrive with a wonderful record, 100%, no defeats. 145 points they've run in, they've conceded 64, so defence is no problem. 24 tries. James Lowes, no wonder he is such an important figure, and so too Robbie Paul. And there is Robbie Paul, the Bradford Bulls captain. Loves the big occasion, thrives on it, and I'm sure he's going to thrive in this atmosphere at Central Park. And about to emerge, the Wigan Warriors, led by Andy Farrell. Great welcome for them. But a Wigan side going through the transitional stage. Even though they've won 3, they have lost 2 games. They've scored 93 points, but conceded, and it's strange for Wigan, 105. Only 16 tries. Top tackler Mick Cassidy, there he is, he gets through a ton of work, and he remains the big go forward for Wigan, Terry O'Connor, and there he is too. 165 metres average per game for O'Connor, but this is the man who maybe is under more pressure than most, Jason Robinson, who's playing tonight at full-back in this Wigan side. Robinson, Cardis, Connolly, Radlinski, Johnson, Smith and Murdoch. It's Holgate, Cassidy, O'Connor front row, Horton, Talek the second row, Farrell captain, and Murray right, great to see him back, Baines and Hall on the bench for coach Eric Hughes. The league leaders have Spruce at full-back, Cook, Peacock, Lachlan and Ikoku on his debut, Paul and Tomlinson, Rihanna, Lowes, Anderson, Nicol, Dwyer, Bradley. On the bench it's Knox, Wittenberg the Aussie, Calland and Medley. Coach is Matthew Elliott. The match referee, the one that we believe is perhaps the top official in the country just at the moment, Stuart Cummings. Top man for a top match, and this is a top match. Wigan Warriors against Bradford Bulls. Wigan in red and white, attacking as we watch from left to right. Bradford Bulls predominantly in black, and here we go. And underneath the kick-off, Stuart Spruce, he tips the ball inside to Bernard Dwyer. And the first tackle by O'Connor inevitably, and also in there quickly too, the French international Gael Talek. This is Tahi Rihanna, formerly with the Perth Western Reds. And that's Paul Anderson, the man that the Bradford side picked up from Halifax to add to their forward strength. James Lowes, the dummy half. Robbie Paul, first touch for him. Crunch tackle on him though. Good tackle too. It was Stephen Holgate in there very quickly.
Oh, they tried to force a pass. It was never on. Tahi Rihanna trying to get this ball out under a lot of pressure. That's a mistake, because Bradford would have wanted to get the kick in. They would have allowed and make the pressure on the fullback Jason Robinson.
Andy Farrell drives the ball in for Wigan, halted 4-5 metres inside the Bulls half of the field, and the first penalty because Bernard Dwyer has his hand in there as Farrell got up to play the ball.
Obviously the referee Stuart Cummings is not going to have any of this. You can see it took an eternity there for the second rower Bernard Dwyer to get away, and also interference with the hand. Well, 2 simple mistakes there by Bradford. That's allowed Wigan to really get into the swing of things now. Murdoch
tips the ball inside to Holgate. Holgate takes Wigan to within 10 metres of the line. Tony Smith running the angle, big hole has opened up for Smith. And he was almost through, but it was a great tackle from Sonny Nicol. It stopped a certain try. Robinson's there, Farrell gets the pass away. And that's Simon Horton. We saw him ghosting round that area against Castleford, 2 tries that night. Murdoch, Smith again, into the arms of Talek, who went without the ball. The ball went backwards, says Stuart Cummings. Play on. Wigan lucky to get away with that.
Farrell going on the blind side there, looking for Horton, but Horton was very flat.
Farrell, I thought for a moment he was shaping for a one-pointer. Instead he hoists the midfield bomb. Underneath it was Abby Ikoku. It went back into the arms of Paul Loughlin. And Matthew Elliott, the Bradford Bulls coach, watching intently from the stands here. Here's Ikoku.
Trying to make amends for that awful catch. Went right through the arms. Fortunately, he was facing the right direction.
Head-high tackle on Paul Anderson. Holgate, I think the man who was picked out by referee Stuart Cummings.
A little bit too high there. Anderson would have felt that. Well, the referee Cummings keeping a tight control of this game early in the match. And rightly so.
Well, he's making his intentions known, isn't he? The players can be in no doubt. This is Paul Anderson.
That'll be a penalty. Silly play there by O'Connor.
Ball stolen in a two-man tackle.
You can see the arm going underneath. No doubt about it. Interference to drag the ball away. You can see there's more than one player in attendance. One-on-one's okay.
Well, Terry O'Connor had a look at the screen and he is convinced, as far as he is concerned, that that ball was simply dropped. And so were all the Wigan supporters as well.
Well, you can see the arm wrestling with the arm underneath. Interference, still trying to drag the ball away, whether you touch the ball or use the arm. See you pull in there quite easily.
So penalty against Terry O'Connor. There's just a little look up at the coach's box where Eric Hughes is watching as well. He's not too happy, is he? Paul Cook's delighted though that he's got this chance. Paul Cook taking the goal-kicking responsibility today because Steve McNamara, their leading point scorer, is out of the side, injured. And Cook, there he is on the big screen behind him, studying concentration. A jittery style, the goal kicker, but it's effective. And Bradford Bulls have the lead. Wigan 0, Bradford 2, the boot of Paul Cook.
Could prove costly, that bad mistake by the prop forward O'Connor, claiming to the referee Cummings that he didn't get a hand in there. There's little doubt in mind that it was helped away by the big prop forward.
So Cook will restart. Deep kick-off to the in-goal area of Wigan. Caught on the fall by Chris Radlinski. Good chase by Bradford from the kick-off. He only was able to make 10 metres. Now here is Gary Connolly, and Connolly, a young man who's looked a little out of sorts compared to his brilliant best of last season.
Wouldn't have helped either with a big hit from Paul Anderson. It really did put the shoulder into Connolly.
Apparently Gary Connolly has not been seen at training this week, or at least he hasn't trained with Wigan this week. He's been here, he's been receiving treatment on his knee. It's a legacy of his winter with Harlequins in rugby union. And Stephen, I think that Wigan will regret the decision.
I'm sure they do, because they really do need a fully fit centre, Gary Connolly. They've got to get him back into match fitness. It's always a big problem, though. There was talk about him coming into this game with needles.
Good strong run from Abby Ikoku, meanwhile. Ikoku, the former Halifax and London Broncos winger. This is James Lowes now. Well,
that's one area that the Wigan defence have to shut that man down. You could see the second marker was non-existent, and Lowes was eager to run from dummy half.
There was Lowes again getting involved, and he found Sonny Nicol with the pass. Nicol on the third tackle, getting over the halfway line. Now Robbie Paul. Lovely ball. Peacock. Support is there from Cook. Tomlinson's there. Nicol's there, and Tony Smith with the tackle. They're running the angles beautifully, Bradford Bulls.
Offside. Moved off the mark. You've got to be square. Stand behind the second mark. And it was a good work by Smith to bring the man down. And when the ball was played, they were not standing square. Well, silly penalties they're giving Bradford. You can see there, he involved himself, Smith. Never got behind the man. Well spotted by the referee Cummings. Well, they did all that good work with a great cover tackle. He's the sweeper for Wigan. Second line of defence in between the first line and, of course, a full back. But this should be another gift 2 points.
Tony Smith penalised. He picked up his first win at Leeds in 3 attempts for Wigan last Friday. But now Paul Cook again. He has featured in all 8 of Super League so far, and also the Cup run, and has scored in 5 of them. 6 goals against St Helens at Wembley last year, you may remember. He is an accomplished goal kicker, and this should be easy. Almost bang in front. No problems for Paul Cook, and Bradford now have a 4-point lead.
No problem for Cook, but plenty of problems for Wigan. You can see there that Smith, who'd already done the tackle, did not go back into the second marker position. Picked off easy. Simple mistakes, but costly.
Tony Smith, 26-year-old, Great Britain international, England international. Paul Cook restarts, another deep kick-off. That's young Darryl Cardis, his first touch. Scored 2 tries apparently in the Alliance Cup final on Wednesday when Wigan beat Warrington. That's the reserve team cup final. This is Robinson, and Bradford surround him and ambush him. 8.5 minutes gone, the ball's ahead 4-0, but that's a penalty against Bernard Dwyer. You cannot have 2 or 3 snaps at a player anymore.
Well, a word must be getting out to all these players from their 2 coaches not to give away silly penalties like that. Neither side have really been able to get into the swing of things, not get into their game plan.
Penalty, hand in again at the play the ball. Graham Bradley protests in innocence, but Stuart Cummings will have none of it. Wants a word.
There's just a little hand in there. Well, they've, shall we say, polished up the rules that states that once you've made the tackle, and when they get up to make it, you do not interfere at all. You do not touch the man. Once the tackle is being completed, you roll away.
Wigan have spurned the opportunity to take 2 points. They're looking for more. They're running this penalty, and this is Holgate. And on 2 tackles, they are now within 5 metres of the Bradford line. Cassidy dummy half. That's Murdoch. This is Smith. He is Radlinski. Radlinski through the middle. Nicol with a good tackle. Penalty again, though. James Lowes is wanted by Stuart Cummings now.
They're running a fine line. Next to go, and they'll get 10 minutes in the sin bin. See the referee talking to the skipper, Robbie Paul. They try to do it to slow things down so that the defence can go back. All this good work, a flop there to start with from Lowes. Well, they're losing the plot, but not anymore. Cummings has told them straight. Next one, take a little rest. 10 minutes sin bin.
And he's telling them that he will blow and blow that whistle until they get the message. And he's telling Wigan the same. Because, Steve-O, that has certainly been the thing that's struck me from the Australian footage we've had this year. The play the ball area, the tackled man, once he's tackled, they're up off him in a flash.
Well, the ironic thing about it is that they copied us from last season.
Farrell gets Wigan rolling. Wigan 2 points, Bradford 4. But it's an area that the coaches in this country wanted brushing up, and the referees, under the guidance of Greg McCallum, are doing exactly that now.
Well, as long as they stick to their guns. The players obviously know now, so they've only got themselves to blame if they infringe further.
Deep kick-off this time from Wigan, and here is Sonny Nicol. Referee telling the players to roll away. He wants no interference at the play the ball. Peacock plays it to Lowes. He finds Tomlinson. This is Rihanna, went without it. Play on, says Stuart Cummings. That's a contentious decision.
Said that the ball went backwards. He was half twisting. Yep, have to agree with the referee. Interesting to see the big prop forward, Paul Anderson, how he shapes up tonight. Was Bradford without their main forward, McDermott.
They looked to get the ball into the arms of Ikoku then, but they missed him. But they're claiming that Ikoku was tackled without the ball.
Pretty difficult to tell whether he committed himself. He could see that the ball was going to be passed by Lawton.
Holgate now driving the ball up the middle.
There's Laughlin trying to get the ball away, and Coco sort of half committed himself, but the tackle was through.
This is Robinson. Robinson is grappled to the floor. Stuart Spruce, the fullback for Bradford, on the fullback for Wigan tonight. This now is Cassidy.
Good run by the hooker, Cassidy.
Smith. Ball back on the inside to Connolly. He delays the pass into the arms of Robinson. Robinson then gives it to Horton. Peacock was there, and so too Sonny Nicol. Last tackle. Farrell. Good ball, was it? No, they went without it. Bradford have it back. Tomlinson. It's still the zero tackle. Look at the run from Tomlinson. He is Cook, and Cook is pacey. He's on his own though now because Tomlinson's overrun him. That's the zero tackle. What a tremendous run. 52 metres.
Good work again by Tomlinson. But Wigan really should have scored a try. They were queuing up there. And they lost it. Murdoch bombed an open time. What a tackle. Johnson lined him up. Paul Loughlin, dearly me. That's a forward. They'll take the scrum. Well, they're trying to squeeze this ball in impossible situations. It's just not on. You could see that Okoko had gone in front. Well, we've yet to see the pressure play by Bradford as yet. They're not finishing off their set of 6.
So Wigan have the possession from the scrum. 4-2, Bulls lead. 14 minutes gone.
But what a big miss, though, by the halfback Murdoch. Farrell had done all the hard work. He drew the defence, offloaded superbly. They bombed it.
O'Connor plays the ball to Cassidy. He finds Murdoch offside against Bradford.
Well, the crowd don't like it.
Well, Murdoch was looking for a quick tap penalty. The referee stopped him.
And rightly so. You could see there that if he'd have taken it, none of those players would have been onside.
Well, since we've turned the 10-minute mark, this game has markedly risen up in pace. Holgate escapes the clutches, doesn't second time.
Bradford tackler's going far too high. No one's going low as yet.
Smith gives it to Connolly. He's watched by Bradley. He and Tomlinson bring him down. Murdoch now. This is Horton. Good attack building here by Wigan. Robinson. That's the last. 10 metres short of the line. Tony Smith into the arms of Farrell. Back on the inside to Murdoch. Murdoch dumps it over the top into the arms of Farrell again. They're running it on the power play. Holgate gives it a bit of width, finds Connolly. Connolly thought about putting boot to ball and should have done. Bradley tackles him, and that's the turnover.
Good work by the loose forward there, the Australian Bradley, but it had to be. Connolly was trying to get around him. But on that left-hand side, Wigan feel that they're confident that there's a bit of a weakness in this Bradford outfit.
Rihanna carting the ball up towards the halfway line. Andy Farrell takes the tackle on him. Here now is Lowe's doing what he does so well, and then offloading the pass to Tomlinson.
Well, the first support was there in Tomlinson, but the second phase of attack was non-existent. Tomlinson was looking to someone to get the ball away.
Nicol throws the ball over his shoulder. That was risky, and this is Cardis. He got a boot to it. Cook has lost it.
Now then, which knock-on will he play first?
I think he'll play the Bradford one.
This will be interesting. There's a loose ball. Came off the foot, so that's okay up to then. So it'll have to be a Wigan feed and head. Squeezed out there. Lost it. Big mistake.
Rihanna has gone off, and Jeff Wittenberg has come on. Former Queensland under-19 prop forward, Wittenberg. Smith, the dummy half to Murdoch. Here's Connolly. Connolly saw a little gap. It was quickly closed by Nicol, who's getting through a ton of work in the tackling, Sonny Nicol. Robinson now. O'Connor drives it into the body of Dwyer.
This is where Wigan need to run the angles and use the dummy runners.
Smith to Farrell. Farrell tackle low down, but he still gets the ball away. Talek gives it then to Robinson, and Nicol again hauls Robinson down. Robinson's hurt.
Big tackle as well, ball and all. Robinson didn't expect that. He's struggling to get the foot up. Just go down, son. That's the best way. Take it away, but this was a big cruncher from Nicol. See, he twisted him over. Well, they've taken the wind out of the winger, and did he get the leg twisted underneath? But what work by Sonny Nicol. 8 tackles so far. Could be a ploy by the coach Matthew Elliott to run the big second row of Sonny Nicol on the first 20 minutes. And it is again over the top. Nothing illegal. Look at the left ankle there. Oh, that really went underneath. You can see screams out in pain. Well, that is a bad sight in any sport. Let's hope it's just twisted. But you could see clearly how it went underneath the body of Nicol. Well, they'll try to give him time, Eddie, to run it out, but oh, looked terrific, that, didn't it?
It did, but fortunately he's hobbled away, but the play of the ball is taken a couple of yards away from the incident and is taken, and then the dink through was nothing really.
Just a little bit too strong. The idea was there, it was a good option.
Paul Loughlin was nearly away, but Cassidy brought him to ground. Here's Dwyer now. They missed him last week, Bernard Dwyer. He returns to the side. A try at Odsal against Wigan last July in that memorable win. Now then, Ikoku, first real chance to run, taking on Connolly, but Connolly stood up to the challenge well. Anderson's gone off to replace by Paul Medley, the impact player who comes off the bench for Bradford so often. This is Medley now. This is Bradley now. This is Lowe's. And there is Wittenberg. 19 minutes gone. Nothing to choose between these two. Tomlinson, long ball out wide. Screams of forward pass, but Andy Johnson read it perfectly anyway.
Well, he threw the dummy first there, which allowed Johnson to move forward, and there he take it. Good job the tackle was completed. Otherwise, Johnson would have been away.
Andy Farrell, he is having a magnificent season so far. Murdoch palmed that ball back. Here's the injured Robinson.
That won't have helped either. It was a big hit from Peacock.
He didn't want that, did he? Still hobbling. Radlinski now. Good defence this from Bradford. They've penned Wigan down in their own half. That's the last. And they've only made 14 metres, and there's a problem, is there for Cardis. Bernard Dwyer signalled immediately to the bench. Cardis hobbles away. Big deep kick though downfield. That's a great kick. Said he's having a wow of a season so far, and Andy Farrell most certainly is.
Well, he's the reason why Wigan are still in for the fight of this year's Super League. It's a good kick. He was put under a lot of pressure by the substitute, Paul Medley. Stands tall, leads by example. Last week he got them out of a scrape. The 1 pointed against Leeds, gave them the 2 valuable points.
Yes, it was only the 3rd 1-pointer of his career, but how valuable might it be come the end of the season? Ikoku has drifted in off the wing. Big tall figure, Abi Ikoku. Tomlinson out wide to another tall man, Bradley. Bradley nearly gets the balls going again. Later scores for you from Headingley. Leeds 6, St Helens 2. That's after 20 minutes, and also after 20 minutes Salford 4, Sheffield 2. So it's all pretty tight in Super League at the moment. Good ball from Tomlinson. Medley dropped it though.
Just took his eyes off the football. Nice work by Tomlinson running the angle. Medley come back on the inside. You could see there was a big gap. Pretty slow to close him down. Brought forward Terry O'Connor in defence, was extremely slow.
4-2 then to the Bradford Bulls here at Central Park. 6-2 to Leeds at Headingley, Steve-O. That's interesting.
Tough encounters.
Horton now with the run to the halfway line. Holgate. Cassidy, dummy half. Good scampering run. That's the last tackle. Better inroads this time from Wigan into Bradford territory. Murdoch just chips one over the top. Ikoku let it bounce. And it was a good job that Spruce was there to tidy up.
Should never try to allow that ball to bounce, but
penalty against Wigan for pushing.
Well, just let them know that he's the boss, Stuart Cummings. Murdoch not happy with the old situation. So yeah, we'll just have a little bit of a push, but didn't look too bad to mine. Well, this was the ball that they allowed to bounce, and Spruce came to the rescue.
Well, Jason Robinson has got a huge bandage on his left ankle. The penalty count is 5-4 in Wigan's favour. So obviously he's turned the ankle over, and hopefully it's nothing more than that. But he's carrying on. Meanwhile, this is Robbie Paul, but he was crunched down by Mick Cassidy. Spruce now developing into a fine fullback, Stuart Spruce. Bernard Dwyer spins in the tackle. Wigan though in the shape of Horton. Wrap him up man and ball so he can't get the ball away. And Horton again. This is the last tackle. Tomlinson will surely kick. No, they'll go for the power play. That looked forward. Doesn't matter anyway. Wigan have it back. Holgate.
Well, they lost the plot completely, Bradford. Again, they missed the opportunity of getting a high ball. As yet, they have not tested the fullback Jason Robinson, and that will not be pleasing their coach Matthew Elliott.
Wigan having the better of it in terms of possession, and it's the boot of Paul Cook and the boot of Andy Farrell, who's in possession of the football now, who have brought us to this situation of 4-2 to Bradford Bulls.
Well, Wigan certainly looking the more adventurous. They're running the angles, especially in and out of the play the ball area, but as yet the Bradford defence is getting to them.
Sweeping the ball across the line. That was Horton's ball to Radlinski, then back to Horton. Here's Robinson again, and Robinson on one leg, he takes them on.
That's back
Medley,
to 6.
He got a touch on that, Medley, so it is. It's back to 0 in the tackle count. This attack will continue. Paul Medley lucky there, he didn't concede a penalty.
More pressure now. Keep your eye out for Farrell out wide.
O'Connor.
Now then, will Wigan use the link? We get to see Tony Smith and Murdoch combine.
They've got plenty of tackles left. This is only the third. It's Farrell who takes the third. The bang in front of the post. 12 metres away from the line. Connolly going for that line. That's how close Wigan are. Farrell into the arms of Tony Smith. Smith taking them on. The tackle was completed by Robbie Paul. Murdoch dabs it through. He's after it, Murdoch, and it's just too late, the little scrum half.
Good work there by Murdoch. You could see that Bradford were all at sea in defence. Now there was Spruce interfering. You can nudge with the shoulder if you're going in the same direction. You cannot grab the person's shirt.
Well, it was push me, pull you, wasn't it? Between those two.
Looked okay though. I don't think Spruce made contact.
Well, that just shows you how much extra work Bradford are having to do compared to Wigan. Lovely ball off the ground though from Tomlinson, but Medley went without it. This is Connolly. Another tackle this time from Tomlinson.
It was good work by Connolly. He pinched that football, took it out of the grasp of Medley.
Connolly, the Bradford defence, is a little static.
There you see how he drags the ball. That was tremendous work by Connolly.
Farrell to Horton. Horton bounces through one, bounces through two. Oh, great try, Simon Horton. He's certainly coming back to life this season in Super League. Horton, his third try in this year's competition. We saw his first two at Castleford that won the match.
Tremendous strength by the big second rower, but put this down to the good work by Gary Connolly. Skipper Farrell back on the inside. Look at the step there. Nicol, who's been working overtime in defence, he misses on this occasion. Nothing that Peacock could do. Horton knew he'd make it. He knew that Spruce couldn't get anywhere near to stop him. Tremendous effort this by Connolly. Look at disbelief there from Medley. We talked about Wigan running the angles. Nicol went far too high, probably for the first time in this game. The result is Wigan's first try. Good work, great effort, great strength. What a finish.
Simon Horton, this is his 46th consecutive appearance since November 1995. Ray Unsworth is there, and behind him is Eric Hughes, the 1 and 2 in the coaching setup here at Central Park. Now Andy Farrell, successful with the penalty. There's Eric Hughes on the left of your screen in the tracksuit, and Ray Unsworth on the right. A lot of talking going on amongst the coaches as Farrell shapes up for this conversion attempt. But Wigan are ahead. Great kick from Farrell. The man of steel, leading by example.
Farrell runs the angle, Horton runs on the opposite one. Problems were always going to appear here. You could see there, they went far too high. Nicol was caught. And once Horton got into his stride, he ran the arc, kept himself well away from the fullback. Dives over. Excellent finish.
Neil Baines has just emerged from the dugout at Wigan, and he has replaced Terry O'Connor. So it's prop forward for prop forward. Try scorer, by the way, Simon Horton, got one in the win against the Bulls here, 22-6 last year. Sonny Nicol looks like he might have problems. He has gone off and has been replaced by Simon Knox. Well, the Bradford problems in the pack are mounting. They've already lost Warren Jowett with a broken ankle. Robbie Paul gets to his feet. Cook to Tomlinson. This is Bradley now. Just confirmation that Baines has come back onto the field. There's Tomlinson drilling the ball through the Wigan defence, but Robinson has shaken off the effects of that turned ankle, and he cuts the danger out. Now Andy Johnson. Neil Baines. 29 minutes gone. Wigan just ahead.
Wigan will slow things down now, taking the lead at 8-4. They know the importance now of just making sure they get into the Bradford half and then make sure it's a good kick and chase game. Nothing fancy.
Well, this is certainly Bradford's biggest test so far, and by far the most difficult game in the run-up to Wembley in the rematch with St Helens on the 3rd of May. But that's a mistake from Craig Murdoch. Kick downfield, was sailing out on the full.
Good work from Bradley though, and you can see Bradley put the shoulder through, committed himself as far as the referee Stuart Cummings was concerned. Everything A-OK, that's why Murdoch kicked it directly into touch. Good work there by the Australian loose forward.
As well as Warren Jowett Jeremy Donegan is also out of this Bradford pack. Sonny Nicol going off as well with the arm raised, so I don't know whether he's got a problem with that, but these are desperate times to be a Bradford forward unless your name's Medley. Here's Bradley. Good driving run towards the post from Bradley. Plays it quickly to Lowe's. Lowe's taking them on his own. Lowe's just held up. Cassidy did well. Bradley dabs it through. Robbie Paul's after it. What a great thump-out play by Bradlinski.
Talk of Johnny on the spot. Paul was diving, Bradlinski was kicking. Let's get out of here. But good work there by the hooker James Lowe's to put them in that position. Good run by Graham Bradley too. Bradley, of course, normally playing in the three-quarter line. He's playing at loose forward tonight, and he's got to do the work. He's got to make sure that he carts the ball up as well, like he did just then.
Bernard Dwyer doing that now for the Bulls. 9 minutes to half-time. 8-all at Headingley after half an hour. And Sheffield ahead against unbeaten Salford 10-4. Lowe's here gives the ball to Peacock. And Peacock, I think, has got the try. He has. Danny Peacock. He was just in the right place at the right time. The ball was flicked up into his arms, and Peacock, well, he almost strolled over. I thought the referee had blown the whistle.
Tremendous work by Lowe's. We mentioned before the game they had to shut him down. It was a magnificent pass. Squeezed the ball out under extreme pressure. Wonderful stuff, this. Peacock dives forward. They hesitated, the Wigan defence. They thought that Lowe's was going down. He really is in magnificent form. James Lowe's on the Peacock. That is a fine try.
It was a great try, and Peacock took it so languidly. I thought for a moment the referee had blown the whistle. But the try stands. And Bradford are on level terms. This kick from Paul Cook to give them the lead again. He doesn't miss those, Paul Cook. So Wigan 8 and Bradford Bulls 10.
No second marker. You can see that the three Wigan defenders also going backwards, not facing the ball. Left an enormous hole for Lowe's to go through. Good work by Peacock, but what a tremendous pass under a lot of pressure. Flips it up there. Wigan's defence got caught, but let's not take anything away from the support play by Peacock.
2 tries for Danny Peacock on his debut in a cup win against Hunslet in February, and a try in his Super League debut against Warrington, but none since, not until tonight. Vital try. Well, it had all the makings of a great game, this, and I don't think any of us can be disappointed so far. But the story has a long, long way to go yet before it completely unfolds, I think. Here's Farrell. Gets the ball away to Talek. And Talek hammers it across field. That could turn into a brilliant kick. But it just went in front of Darrell Cardis. But it could easily have dropped into somebody's arms out there.
Well, it's obviously that the Frenchman is not used to kicking the football. Not the best, but it nearly turned up trumps for them. Been around at Wigan now for quite some time. He's fought his way into this first team. Playing well this season.
Paul Cook. He plays the ball to his captain, Robbie Paul, who finds Glenn Tomlinson. Now it's with Graham Bradley. Well, one of the Bradford stars out tonight is Steve McNamara, but he's talking here to Bill.
Steve, this is turning out to be just as tight as I think everybody anticipated.
Most definitely, Bill. It's you know, a very close, exciting game, and you know, I think we've just weathered a big 20 minutes from Wigan and starting to look good ourselves now.
I think the tackle count just about sums it up. You're getting through an awful lot of work in that department.
Yeah, I mean, that 20 minutes what we've just gone through, you know, we kept sending the ball over to Wigan, giving them far too much possession, but thankfully now we're starting to get to last play, and they're starting to turn the game our way, I think.
Andy Johnson did well under extreme pressure to keep that ball in the field of play.
Well, surely he wasn't on the mark. Tomlinson was a metre to the left of the play of the ball. Crowd didn't like it. The Wigan players looked at the referee. You see that Tomlinson was a yard away. He's supposed to stand behind. Good defence by Dwyer there. Tony Smith looked as though he was well away.
Andy Farrell's involved in everything. This is Horton now, though. The last tackle just inside the Wigan half. Farrell with the kick off the outside of the boot, and Spruce will collect.
Beautifully weighted kick there by Andy Farrell, and a good chase. Radlinski, Murdoch, they're eager. They want to try to capture the lead before the half-time break. Bradford surely will close it down now.
Here's Wittenberg, the big Aussie prop forward. Tackled by Holgate. Lowe's was dummy half. Tomlinson to Bradley. Bradley just skidded on the surface, but it came off for him. He's able to switch the direction of the attack. Lowe's then to Cook. And Cook wrapped up on halfway by Mick Cassidy. Here's Lowe's again. Delayed the pass to Tomlinson. Tomlinson to Ikoku. And well watched by Andy Johnson. Last tackle now for Bradford. Lowe's will try and kick for touch, but goes out in the fall. Ball will be brought back to where the kick was taken. It's a turnover.
Try to go on the blind side there, but not the best option. Robbie Paul having a few words to say to the hooker. They were lined up out wide so that they could get a high kick in.
Holgate, close season signing from Workington Town, £70,000, starting to get to the pace of this Wigan side, you think now. Murdoch plays the ball to Connolly. He finds Smith. Smith to Horton. Horton taking them on again out wide. Quick play of the ball. Bradford could be stretched in defence here. This is Farrell. Delayed the pass. Then got it away to Cassidy. Cassidy looks over the shoulder, spins a careless pass which Horton had to drop on. Gratefully, it's the last one.
Surely it's a bomb this time.
Murdoch. Now he drills it through the defence and finds touch.
Quite happy just to soak up the time. Trying to keep the pressure applied now, hoping that Bradford come up with a mistake. With the head, into their head and feet.
Oh, it's tense, isn't it, at Central Park? 2 minutes to half-time. Just 2 points the gap. Craig Murdoch talking to his forwards as they pack down for this scrum. Not his feed, though. Now Spruce. Such strength from the Bradford fullback. Robbie Paul. They're watching him so closely, Wigan. They know what a danger he is. Ikoku says to Farrell, get out the way. Can't get around Connolly, though. Paul at dummy half. Tackled again by Farrell. Two captains clash. Ikoku, Lowe's, Wittenberg. Thought about the pass round the corner, heard the shout from Simon Knox, thought better of it. Off goes Lowe's again. Looking for Ikoku, was it? Out wide, he couldn't get the pass in.
Well, again, they blow the opportunity on the last tackle. They run the power play rather than opt for the kick. We mentioned before the game that we thought that Jason Robinson would be peppered with a kick. Ikoku couldn't do anything with that. 3 errors so far in the handling department.
That's a good kick. Radlinski's after this. Spruce is lolloping back towards it, and Spruce takes no chances. He heard the hooves behind him and hammered it out of the field of play.
Did the right thing. He knows there's only seconds remaining of this first half. But here, the breathing, I'm sure, of Chris Radlinski. It was a beautiful kick. Crowd not happy with the way that Bradford, and you see the referee Cummings has stopped time.
Paul Cook will drop out from underneath his own posts, get it up the field as far as possible, because there's only seconds remaining in this first half. Here comes Robinson. He takes the tackle. Horton keeping it going, but there's the half-time siren as the tackle is completed, and a rip-roaring first half it's been as well, that Bradford have just shaded, courtesy of the Peacock try and the kicking from Cook, but Simon Horton is the man who scored the Wigan try. Paul Cook, 3 successful kicks, 2 penalty and a conversion. Bradford jog off to have words of wisdom from their coach Matthew Elliott. Wigan will do the same with Eric Hughes, but that was a beautiful ball from Lowe's to Peacock, and Peacock gratefully accepted the 4 points. We'll have a look at this first half when we return. Coming up on Sky Sports 2 on Sunday morning at 9 AM, the 7th and final one-day international between South Africa and Australia. Right now we have a rip-roaring Super League battle going on between Wigan and Bradford. And this is the situation at half-time. Wigan 8, Bradford 10. 2 tries, Horton and Peacock, and the important goals from Farrell and from Cook. Tremendous first half we've seen here at Central Park, and I don't think it has disappointed anybody. Paul Cullen, the assistant Warrington coach, of course, went for Bradford before the start of this match. Have you seen anything that might change your mind?
Well, no, I still go with Bradford, but I think Matthew Elliott will be the most disappointed of both coaches, because Bradford's lack of ability to complete the sets of 6, I think have cost them dearly in this first half. They could be and should be well clear in this match. I think Eric Hughes will find himself quite fortunate that Wigan are still in with a shout.
But there's something seems to be not quite right for Wigan somehow, because normally they would roll over opposition here at Central Park. It's been Fortress Central Park for so long, but not anymore. Not anymore,
no. I think it's a numbers game. Bradford have more quality players who have the ability to unload and cause Wigan problems. And if you're looking through the Wigan ranks, Andy Farrell looks genuine class every time he has the ball in his hands, and Simon Horton looks to be very, very powerful and, you know, an imminent danger every time he touches the ball. If you go through the rest, they're playing the game between Farrell and Horton and making up the numbers. You look through the Bradford side, they have worked the ball well on the inside. They're making genuine breaks from constructed play. I mean, the Wigan try came from, you know, a missed tackle, a one-on-one shot. The Bradford defence was in shape, but a one-on-one shot from Sonny Nicol was missed, and Horton powered through to score. And apart from that, you know, Bradford have looked very, very solid.
Well, let's take a look at some of the important moments of that first half now. Steve-O, you've been busy all the way through making notes of the crucial tackles, the missed tackles. What have you got for us?
Well, we've often said it, haven't we, in the past, that you've got to take your opportunities, you've got to take your chances, and very early in the game they bombed it. Farrell did it wonderfully well there. You can see he brought in Paul, and Murdoch just absolutely crucified that. They really should have got off to a flying start. And from that, Tomlinson, a beautiful break. He's been quite busy, Tomlinson. So has this fella. Cook as well came across. Robinson, good job that he was there, getting themselves into an involvement. Then we saw the bit of a problem where this is the angle. Back on the inside, Tony Smith. Beautiful break there, but good defence. Tremendous defence. I mean, they just really got themselves organised. But you've got to take your chances. You can see from the tackle count, we have a situation whereby that they've been missing their chances. Bradford have been working. Ball kept Sinclair. This is absolutely marvellous from Gary Connolly. The look on Medley's face was absolutely outstanding. He said, where on earth has the ball gone? One-on-one, it has to come from it. And from this, the situation, they came up. Let's move it on there. Let's hold it there. Now, you can see how Farrell will run the angles. He's having a fine game, and Horton shows tremendous strength as he comes right the way through. They really have worked hard. But full credit, though, to the Bradford defence. Apart from that, Sonny Nicol going far too high. But it was interesting to see that Nicol was taken off just after that. Perhaps he had an injury. But this was superb from Lowe's. Let's hold it there. Now, the defence there, and look at this. No one marking into the second marker. It's just like a big invitation for the hooker. Beautiful pass, though. Full credit to Peacock. A lot of people thought he was forward in the crowd, but I can assure you it was a backward pass, but tremendous work, though, by Lowe's. Absolutely tremendous. You cannot allow this man the latitude. Look at that. Outstanding play. They're getting stronger, especially with Lowe's running from dummy half. They looked a little bit dodgy the first 15-20 minutes, but I think they're getting themselves organised. We saw early in the match that Bradley, normally three-quarter, playing at loose forward, he wasn't doing his hard work. Last 10 minutes of that first half, we see Bradley taking the ball, carting it up to the defence, quick play the ball, and that allows Lowe's the opportunity. And that's how the first try came about for them.
Well, Steve-O, Paul, has picked out James Lowe's all season as the most valuable player in this Bradford side, and that pass to Peacock was sheer perfection, wasn't it?
He's a guy that's playing on confidence. He's a tremendous player, and he's playing in a side that want to go forward. I think Bradford will come out in the second half with a call of more of the same, but patience. Completions of sets of 6 from Bradford, and they could run away with this match. They have, it's a fine line between playing the unload game and sheer recklessness, and on many occasions, especially on tackle 4, 5 and 6, Bradford have forced the pass. If they'd have held on for one more and played the next play out, they'd have scored try after try after try. So I'm sure James Lowe's will be looking, as well as Matthew Elliott at the moment, to play the patience call and complete the sets of 6.
Well, we've got men of the match playing out there, and I'm sure a few of them have caught your eye. And there's the telephone number for you to ring. If you have got a name for us, we'll tell you when during the course of the second half. Wait to make your phone calls, but when you do, that's the number that you should ring. And there are a number of candidates having outstanding games on both sides. It's a terrific game, isn't it? Wigan against Bradford. We thought it would be, and in that first half we have seen nothing to change that view. Wigan against the Bradford Bulls then. We have 40 minutes left, and with just 2 points between these two fine sides, this match is up for grabs. Coming next, we have the second half, the final stanza of Warriors against the Bulls. Coming up on Sky Sports 1 on Sunday at 6:30, Oldham Bears against Paris Saint-Germain, Super League Round 6. Right now, we have a blockbuster taking place. Wigan against Bradford. Wigan 8, Bradford 10 at the start of this second half. Tries from Horton and Peacock, the goals from Farrell and Cook. Nothing to choose between these two excellent sides, as the statistics, Steve-O, will show.
Well, you can see the possession, Wigan 56. They really did have most of the ball, and that brought about the attacking kicks there. Kicks in play. You can see that Wigan, they've been doing all their work, but full credit though to Bradford. Their cover defence at times was absolutely amazing. Runs from dummy half, not surprising there, 15 to 13, especially with Lowe's in there. And look at the handling errors there, dearly me. 9 for Bradford. We saw early in the piece that they were trying to force the football. I'm sure that their coach, Matthew Elliott, will have sorted that out. Sets completed, 12 to 9. That will not please Elliott either. We mentioned before the game that we thought that they would put pressure on Robinson. As yet, they failed to do that. I think we'll see that in the second half, Eddie.
So second half is in progress here at Central Park, and Bradford Bulls now attacking from left to right. They are the team at the moment with the 2-point advantage. So important, the half-time 10 minutes or so, that the coaches can get at their players and can offer words of encouragement, words of advice, and the odd rollicking or two, of course, as well, to try and gee up the players for the second big effort. 8-10, nothing to choose between these two. Bradford, their last victory here in the league, January 1988. No matter what happens at Wembley, we've got Bradford against St Helens in Super League down for the following Sunday, and it's live on Sky Sports. We have an absolute plethora of wonderful matches coming up for you on Sky Sports over the next, well, all the way through to the middle of November.
Just a little bit too strong there by Farrell, but the idea is there. It's obvious that their coach, Eric Hughes, has given them the message they must kick deep, good chase, play out the 6. It's going to also be interesting, Eddie, the fact that Bradford, a lot of the players were telling me that against London Broncos last week, it was one of the toughest games they'd experienced for many a day. Will it tell tonight?
Well, they've had almost a full week to recover. Both these sides have, and other matches taking place. Half-time score: Leeds 12, St Helens 8. So the champions up against it at Headingley, and the other unbeaten record in Super League, Salford 4, Sheffield 10. So Salford up against it also. So Bradford, at the end of tonight, could be a couple of points clear of the pack if they can hang on to this, and I'm sure that Matthew Elliott will have kept in touch with those situations also. Andy Johnson tried to sweep up the kick through, and all he did was just push it dead.
Neat kick from Tomlinson, but equal to the task was the winger Johnson. Even though he didn't take possession of the football, you could see he'd already turned around, cleared the danger, but he knows that they've got 6 more tackles to come. Kick off from underneath the post will give Bradford the possession.
Stuart Spruce, the costliest full-back in the history of the game, making this run straight at Connolly, and Connolly stands up to it well. Ikoku was the dummy half. Now Wittenberg, tackled by Baines. Here's Medley.
Bradford using their forwards very tight, trying to get the link out going now.
Bradley has to take the tackle. 2 stern defences here, determined not to be breached.
Well, that looked a forward pass. They're looking to get away with that. Lowe's really delayed the pass.
Little kick slid through the defence. Well picked up again by Johnson. That's the second time that they have tested Johnson on that wing. Incidentally, Steve-O, the news from the dressing room at half-time of Sonny Nicol is that he's taken a bang on an arm that he has previously broken, and obviously with the number of forwards going down like 9 pins at Odsal, they're taking no chances.
And they do the right thing, and maybe that was the reason why he didn't complete that tackle that let in Wigan for that try.
Penalty to Wigan. Interference at the play the ball again.
Well, he stamped his authority early in the first half. He's doing exactly the same. So that Bernard Dwyer was all over the man, trying to play the football. There's Nicol, looking somewhat subdued. Let's hope that the injury is not too bad.
Cassidy, the dummy half, and here's Holgate. Been impressed with him tonight. He's made some good forward rushes at first receiver. Murdoch and Smith back on the inside to Connolly. Farrell. Forward pass. Referee picked up a forward pass.
Not happy with it, the Wigan players. Well, looks all right for mine. Not according to referee Stuart Cummings. It's amazing how a call like that can perhaps just swing the game.
Well, it gives the possession back to Bradford. And Robbie Paul in possession. And he tries to go round Radlinski, and he almost got away from Cardis also. Penalty to Wigan.
Obstruction. He played the ball, Robbie Paul, there was no marker there. Now, Robbie Paul could have gone back and dived on the football. That would have been okay, but you could see that he made sure that Cardis couldn't get anywhere near it. Now, Paul should have gone for the football rather than stop Cardis from getting to it. That would have been A-OK.
I don't think I've seen that since the new rule came in. The player stood there on his own many times, but all of a sudden someone normally goes into dummy half.
Well, as long as he plays it backwards, he can turn around and pick it up. It's play on.
That was well stolen by Knox.
Good thinking as well. Dragged the ball backwards, made sure that he wouldn't be classed as a knock-on.
Medley grounded on halfway. Paul Cook now. Good run from Cook. Tackled by Tony Smith. And look at that, he's averaging 15 tackles a match. Bernard Dwyer, he's already up to 29 here at Central Park. What an effort from Bernard Dwyer. They were delighted when he was past fit to play this week. Wittenberg now. Last tackle for Bradford. Lowe's. Tomlinson dabs the ball through. It bounced off a Wigan leg and into the arms of Jason Robinson.
There was a nothing kick though from Tomlinson. Well, they obviously feel that this guy's got a bit of a problem, but he's been equal to the task on every kick into that far corner, and that was a good run as well.
Well, it's Andy Johnson's 50th Wigan appearance tonight. And as a result of his good work on that far side, Wigan have got a penalty in midfield.
Bit of a high shot from Knox. See the swinging arm. Baines knew he was going to be welcomed with more than a little tap.
Now Holgate. 7.5 minutes, second half gone. Tight as a drum at Central Park. Baines. Good driving run from Baines, lovely ball round the corner, but off the head of Robinson. And I think the referee will pull Cassidy back rather, for the knock on. It was the second one, he says. That was the first, that was the second.
Well, a chance was there, it was good work by Baines. Robinson had come up from full back. You wouldn't have seen him for dust if he'd taken in that football.
Paul with the possession from the base of the scrum. Time for a little electricity from Paul. No, straight into the arms of Radlinski. That was good play from Radlinski, and that was on the first tackle also.
What on earth was Robbie Paul thinking, trying to get the pass out on the first tackle? That was a suicidal pass. I think even Radlinski was surprised that that ball came to him.
And Radlinski took a bang on the noggin in the tackle. He's down receiving some treatment now as this attack continues. Knox dumps Talek to the ground.
Peacock coming over the top.
Here's Horton.
Oh, dearie me. Well, both these sides have hit the panic button. Not the best pass from Horton. Tony Smith just couldn't get to it.
But they're hitting the panic button too early, aren't they? Both of them.
Both sides. Well, we've just seen Robbie Paul offload when really he should have gone down with the football. It wasn't even the first tackle.
Paul Cook now. Radlinski fit enough to continue. Robbie Paul. Bernard Dwyer. Good tackling by this Wigan defence. Wittenberg now. Ferocious tackling. But Neil Baines with his hand in as the tackle player tried to get to the football. There he is to play it.
Well, when are they going to learn, these players? Professional footballers. They've been told on numerous occasions by the referee Stuart Cummings during this match. Great Britain Academy player. He's got a bright future, but he's got to think a little bit better than that.
The call was from Peacock. Cassidy had him by the shorts, and he gets the shorts round the knees.
Well, if he plays this ball, he's a magician. Well done.
Well, he played it, but he didn't have to because Holgate was sitting on his back. So they've got the penalty. A good job he had the blue ones on.
Well, I suppose that's one way to tackle. You can see Holgate over the top, deliberately holding the man down. Well, how long will the patience of this referee be tested?
It's a penalty to Bradford, and Paul Cook, the way he's kicking tonight, is in the mood to have a shot at goal with this.
Well, it really has amazed me, the lack of discipline from both these sides throughout this match.
Discussion between Eric Hughes on the left in the tracksuit and his number 2, Ray Unsworth. All the statisticians keeping count of penalties, tackles made, runs, kicks, just as we do. And Matthew Elliott the Bradford coach, there is nothing to gain from that view of him. Not a flicker of emotion. Might be if he comes up with a victory here tonight, though. Now 3 out of 3 for Cook. Faultless so far. This is a big kick. He's drifted it in. That's an important 2 points added to the Bradford total. It's 12-8 now. And they're starting to believe that this first victory here since 1990 in the Regal Trophy quarter-final, 12 points to 6, their last win at Central Park, it could be all about to change. 2 changes meanwhile for Wigan. On have come O'Connor again and Martin Hall off the bench. Paul Cook restarts.
Well, it's obviously that Eric Hughes, the Wigan coach, needs some injection into his side. He knows they've frittered away many opportunities since the restart. They don't seem to have that same spring as they showed in that first half, this Wigan outfit.
Farrell. If anyone can lift a team, this fella can. Here's O'Connor. Good run from O'Connor. Offload to Hall. This is Smith. Smith almost to halfway. 12-8 at Headingley to Leeds after a quarter of an hour second half. It's 10-all now at the Willows. Salford against Sheffield. Bubbling up nicely in the Super League pot in 1997. The kick downfield is from Farrell, and that's going to be too strong, too heavy. But there is a man who can lift a team. Andy Farrell, the man of steel, the youngest ever England captain, youngest ever 1996 Lions Tour captain.
Well, I really can't see the tactical kick in there from Andrew Farrell as being a good option. Not once they've elected to put it high.
Paul, dancing little run, watched all the way by Talek.
And remember, Eddie, the very high floodlights here at Central Park. Quite often, once the ball gets high, you can lose it.
Bradley straight up the middle, burst through the tackle. He's got Medley in support. He also has Knox, and Knox got it through to Tomlinson, who put the ball down. Maybe the better option would have been Medley first off.
Well, trying to keep that ball alive. It's suicidal at times, but good work by Bradley. Not the best attempt by Gail Talek. Frenchman didn't really put his shoulder to it, but why on earth try to force the pass yet again? Unforced errors. It's becoming a nightmare for both coaches.
Robinson now, the last line of the Wigan defence tonight. Bradford 12 handling errors, and Wigan have made 4 handling errors this half.
Well, it's a credit to this Bradford side to be leading by 4 points in a situation like that. This tackle counts 9-8, nothing between them in that department.
Hall is the dummy half. Farrell to Connolly, and he's had Martin Hall in front of him then, but the referee says that the tackle was completed, so play on. Smith over the top. The ball kicks towards the try line. There's a huge chase behind Spruce. Farrell leading the way as per normal, as you would expect.
That was more like it. A lot more enthusiasm in the Wigan side then. They've got to try to force them into this error. If they can keep them that way, then the kick will only make halfway.
Great defence. 3 tackles gone, only 11 metres. Medley. That's 4 tackles gone, 17 metres made. Super defence from Wigan this. And again.
Great work there by Smith. Tony Smith is on fire in defence at the moment. Well, that should really lift them.
Bradley with the run. Gets the pass away to Tomlinson. This is the last tackle, remember. Tomlinson goes for the chip through, an invention, but it's smothered by Johnson.
Well played by Johnson. He didn't like the charge from Paul.
Up to his average, 9 per match, 9 here tonight. Now Martin Hall. for the first time in 2 years.
Neat work by Tomlinson, but you see Johnson put his body on the line.
Graham Bradley protesting about the award of a penalty here, but I don't know what other option the referee had.
Well, there's little doubt he had 3 goes.
I was going to make the point, Steve, that Martin Hall, the man who was unfairly tackled then by Graham Bradley, 2 years since he's been having to take a place on the substitutes bench.
Yeah, it's pressure both on and off the field at the moment. And Bradley realises that that could be a bad mistake. Could bring Wigan to with only 2 points in the Bradford scoreline. But I have little doubt, Eddie, that fitness is going to tell in the latter part of this game. There's some tired bodies out there. Both defences have been on top.
Well, Bradford were the last side to inflict a second successive home defeat on Wigan after a victory by St Helens, and that's the way it stands at the moment. But Farrell had the opportunity then to add an extra couple of points to the Wigan total, but he failed with that kick. That was eminently kickable for Andy Farrell. But it was 9 years ago that they lost to St Helens and then suffered a reverse against Bradford in the next home game. As Paul Anderson returns for Bradford, and at the moment Wigan are looking straight down the barrels of history repeating itself here. Wouldn't it be an irony of ironies? Robinson.
Well, he seems to have recovered quite well from the ankle twist.
O'Connor.
Obviously not strained too many ligaments in there.
Hall, dummy half, Murdoch. The runner was Holgate.
He's worked hard as Holgate.
He has.
He's led the forwards well.
Tony Smith working hard in defence, now trying to conjure something up in attack. Farrell back to the Frenchman, Talek. Met by Anderson, only just back on the field. Hall into the arms of Farrell, back on the inside to Murdoch. And Murdoch escapes the clutches, but Bradley was there again. Smith, Wigan running the angles. Farrell dumps the ball over the top. Referee blows the whistle.
Forward pass on the last, it'll be the turnover. Well, again, we see an opportunity missed. Not trying to get the football. Just went forward. That was enough.
Just a smidgen. Here's Danny Peacock. Oh, it's O'Connor with the tackle. Now Paul Medley, the only survivor, by the way, in this Bradford side from that last victory in the Regal Trophy quarter-final in 1990.
Well, I wish he'd get a new pair of shorts out to Peacock. Second time he's lost them.
James Lowe's. You're offended by that, are you?
If he makes a break and they drop down his ankles, that'll be a talking point, won't it?
High kick, and Robinson does really well to claim that ball.
Superb take there. That's the first time that they put Robinson under pressure. Good tackle though by Cook. Just bubbling over now. Could boil well and truly over. I get the feeling that a mistake will result in a try, a drop ball, a wayward pass. It's been a titanic struggle.
I wonder if you've seen a man of the match candidate. There's the telephone number to ring. 0891 66 55 25. Your view. Vote now. 0891 66 55 25. The kick from Murdoch downfield. Radlinski's after it. Radlinski's quick. Spruce is quick.
Good refereeing there. Stuart Cummings told Radlinski he was offside. Do not make a play for the football. And you could see Radlinski lift his arm and say, yes, I know I was offside. Good refereeing. He spotted that Radlinski was in front.
Stuart Spruce didn't know though, did he?
No. But no one's going to send him a telegram. He says, let's get it out of here. But great call there by Cummings, the referee.
Paul Cook with the dropout up to the halfway line. Robinson will immediately run it back. Such a dangerous player, Jason Robinson. Connolly to O'Connor.
Well, Wigan really have to now work the angles and set up for a play. And look who's about to come on.
Nigel Wright, isn't that good news for the game as well as Wigan? Farrell on an angle run. It was a great tackle, and it had to be, by Bernard Dwyer. Tony Smith. Smith looking for support. It arrives from Robinson. Desperate defence now from Bradford. Wigan, you get the feeling of up the tempo. Smith to Horton, who stretches out. Did he get the touchdown? The referee doesn't even bother with the video referee, and he gives the try to Horton. It's Horton's second. He's flat out. Horton brave for his 4th Super League try of the season.
That's one way of really putting your shoulder out. He reached out. Good work by Smith. He delayed the pass and the strength of the man. It's a fair try, but oh, it plays havoc with your shoulder. Beautiful play. He delayed the pass. You can see where it's come arming through. Peacock couldn't get to him. Fair try, but the weight on the man coming over. And not surprisingly, he's in agony. Good angle. Good delayed pass. Peacock tried to stop the weight of Horton. It wasn't enough. Wonderful play by the big second rower. We've already seen some strength in the first half. Oh, but that is painful.
Simon Horton's down injured, and so too Stuart Spruce. I rather think that Horton got maybe as well as a crack on the top of the shoulder, a bang on the top of the head from Stuart Spruce's knee, because Horton is flat out, and so too is Stuart Spruce. The two of them involved in that, receiving treatment here. That was the clunk on the top of the head from Spruce. It was a desperate effort by the Bradford fullback to stop Horton from scoring the try. All came to naught, and Horton gets to his feet, and the deserved round of applause. The scores are level at Central Park. 12 apiece. And Horton obviously concussed, or at least dizzy, and will be taken off the field to regather his breath and get the marbles back in place. But that was sheer bravery from the big second row. 2 tries then for Simon Horton, and Spruce is going off as well. Well, Super League stars, they regularly put their bodies on the line week after week after week. Points apiece. This is a huge kick now from Andy Farrell. 2 out of 3. Missed one from the other side earlier. This one perhaps from the favoured left-hand side of the field for the left-footed kicker. He knows how important this is. He's missed it. He's pulled it in front of the post. Scores stay at 12 points all. Well,
good work by Tony Smith. He comes from the open side to the blind side. You can see that the defence is all at sea. They were standing back on the inside, bang. Tremendous effort there. As you mentioned, Eddie, putting your body on the line.
Eric Hughes has made the change. Nigel Wright, number 20, has returned to the big time. So, Doc Murray has also come on. He goes to fullback, so a double change because Murdoch has gone off. And there's Nigel Wright. First action for him, the tackle on number 17, Paul Anderson. So 12 all, Robbie Paul. Little dart through, Talek with the tackle.
They've kept him quiet, Robbie Paul. He's only had a couple of jinking runs, but he's the type of player that can bring this crowd to their feet.
Midfield bomb from Bradley, straight up in the air. They let it bounce, comes back to Lowe's. Paul And Paul puts a much better kick in. Double change for Wigan. And obviously Bradford have made a change also. Here's Murray. Gets back into the field of play. Does well, the substitute fullback.
It's a beautiful kick downfield and a great chase as well. Murray did well. It was a good step. Evaded Cook. Bradford now trying to get their defence solid.
So Matt Callander's come on, number 20 for Bradford Bulls. For Spruce, number 20 for Wigan. Doc Murray also on. So, all locked up at 12 points all, and just over a quarter of an hour to go. Well, no need to think yet about one-pointers, surely, Steve-O, but will either side take one if they get the opportunity?
Of course they should. They left it pretty late, Wigan against Leeds last Friday, but I don't think they'll waste a round.
That's a good kick downfield under pressure from Murray. That relieves the pressure. Peacock now is back at the sweeper at full-back, and here he goes. Ikoku takes the tackle from Nigel Wright. Must be delighted, Wright, that he's back. 2 years of agony behind him.
Well, this is a point in the game when you players have to dig deep, try to just get that little bit of energy, that extra little bit of yard, the speed, anything just to break through these solid defences.
Bradley gets the pass away to Lowe's. Here's Robbie Paul, spins away from one. Can't get away from two, though. That was a great tackle, and it was Andy Farrell inevitably. Well picked up by Tomlinson, dabbed through with the outside of the boot. Murray is there, and Murray again gets it back into the field of play.
Nice option, though, from Tomlinson. Murray was in a good position. Here's another player that's been pretty quiet, Gary Connolly.
Now Robinson. Well, the crowd now at Central Park warming to this contest. It's been rip-roaring stuff. Wigan enjoying the better of the possession at the moment. Ooh. Strong driving run from Holgate. He has done that all night.
There's a big hit from Knox as well. Holgate's down on his haunches.
Lovely ball from Wright to Farrell. Farrell's got support from Smith. Smith's got the legs on Jowett, and Smith will score! Tony Smith gives Wigan the lead again. It was created by Wright and Farrell, and it was finished off magnificently by Tony Smith. His first for Wigan, his first in Super League this year, and how important could that be?
Beautiful play out wide. Right, a nice little ball. You see how Farrell stepped inside Robbie Paul. He's gone out wide, and the man that's done this for many a year, Tony Smith, he'll enjoy this. His first in the Wigan colours, and what a time to score it. He loves nothing better than to trail down back on the inside. Robbie Paul had moved out far too well. Superb pass by the Wigan skipper. He knows he's going to make it. The crowd were urging him on. He loves every moment of this, and why not? That could change the game.
Well, 10 tries for Castleford last year. His first for Wigan this year. And he loved every second of that, created by this man with a beautiful pass, who was set through the gap by Nigel Wright. Sheer quality from two top quality stars. Big discussion on the coach's bench. Farrell then. Matthew Elliott looks forlorn at the moment. Farrell with the conversion attempt. Doesn't miss this time. And Wigan suddenly hold a 6-point lead.
Robbie Paul goes outside, back on the inside, but watch Smith. Watch him chase down, right down the middle. Beautiful support play. Steps on the gas. A touch of class from Farrell. A touch of class from Wright. And brilliant finishing by Tony Smith.
For the first time in the match, there is 6 points between these two sides. Now, we'll see what the league leaders are made of. Their 100% record is on the line. Bradford. Tomlinson to Dwyer. 11 minutes left for play. Tomlinson again. Robbie Paul. Robbie Paul with a pass on the inside to Lachlan. And the ball was stolen. Penalty.
Farrell was low down. So there were two in attendance. Hall drags the ball away. Paul Lachlan couldn't do anything about it. Silly mistake there by Hall. The pressure is obviously getting to some of these players. Bradford will throw everything now. They've been grinding it out all this second half. It's time now to be a little bit more adventurous.
Dwyer tried to step through the gap. The gap was closed by Holgate. Here's Robbie Paul. If anyone can, he can. He feeds Peacock. Peacock for the line. Try! Danny Peacock, his second. And Bradford respond again. Not a flicker of emotion on Matthew Elliott's face, but plenty of emotion out there. And Bradford have struck back.
Well, they thought Robbie Paul was going to do something. You can see how they held back. And that was the reason why Peacock had enough room to get over. It was only a little jink, but it was sufficient. You can see that they went through. Peacock's run was superb. Tremendous fight back from Bradford. It was just a little jink, a little dummy. Wigan's defence held back enough for Peacock to say we're back.
It's sport in the Roar in Super League. And Danny Peacock with his second try. Now then, the attention switches from Peacock to Paul Cook. Faultless so far. If memory serves, this is from almost the same spot that Terry Matheson kicked one here last year for an 18-all draw. Scraped it wide of the posts. Oh, Wigan cling on to the lead, 18-16.
It was a little shimmy, but he confused the defence. Rather than Wigan moving forward, they held back. What is he going to do? I'll tell you what he'll do. He'll pass the ball to Peacock, who's got the strength and the speed to get over. This is one heck of a finish.
Oh, don't move away from your sets. Wigan 18, Bradford 16. Steve-O, they are biting their nails at Central Park this season. And look at the score after half an hour at Headingley. Leeds 13, St Helens 8. And Salford 10, Sheffield 16. The top of the table sides at the moment are all trailing. The top three behind. This could be a big night for Wigan. Farrell.
Well, a Wigan coach, Eric Hughes, said before this game, if they didn't win, they could kiss the Super League Championship goodbye. They had to win. It was desperate.
Get your votes in now for your man of the match. And there are, well, 34 candidates we've seen in this titanic struggle tonight.
Beautiful kick by the skipper. He knows the importance of getting this ball into touch. Slows the game down. The seconds tick away. 5 in this game, he averages 7. We keep saying it, he is in superb form. He stood out like a beacon tonight.
Abi Ikoku. Well, 7 minutes of the match remaining. Callan. And the referee says Callan did not use Medley as a shepherd. Play on. Don't forget, Bradford haven't won a league game at Wigan since 1988. At the moment, they're losing this one as well, but the gap's 2 points. It could change. It could change dramatically. Bradley's got support. Bradley is held up, is he? Just short. Incredible. Paul into the arms of Tomlinson. Tomlinson to Lachlan. Lachlan out wide. Callan gets a try. Incredible. Bradford Bulls don't know when they're dead. They ran the ball the gamble, and Callan has come up with a vital try.
It was a power play. Beautiful work there by Tomlinson. It was his break that put them in the position. They run out of numbers. Tomlinson's jinking run, the determination, the pass on the inside. It took 3 to bring Bradley down. His strong run, quick play the ball. Tomlinson said, let's get it out of here. Good step, beautiful pass. Losland did the right thing. They ran out of numbers. Radlinski was all at sea. Callan, super sub. Let's see if there's any emotion now. That's enough. Beautiful play by Tomlinson. What a time to break the defence. What a time for a substitute to come up with the 4 points.
And what a time to score your first try. And he scored a try in the Premiership semi-final last August here. Matt Callan. Well, Bradford went 6 points down and they've responded with 2 tries in 5 minutes. Now they're cooked from almost exactly the same spot again. If he puts this one over, there'll be an almighty roar from behind the post, and he has! There's daylight now between Bradford and Wigan. It's swinging one way and then the other. 4 points now.
The defence came out. They thought Glenn Tomlinson was going to put the kick in, but he did the little dancing step. They applied the pressure, but they didn't finish him off. Lachlan out wide. Radlinski, no chance. What a fight back.
Well, 5 minutes ago it was going to be a big night for Wigan with Saints losing and Salford losing. Suddenly it might develop into a big night for Bradford. And what drama we've served you up here on Sky Sports over the last 2 Fridays. Friday night is Super League night. Farrell into the arms of Wright. Can they conjure something now, Wigan? The former champions, can they come up with a champion response?
It's all or nothing now. Everything has to be thrown, bar the kitchen sink at this Bradford defence.
Just over 3.5 minutes to go. A kick for Robinson to chase. Peacock's there. The ball has beaten Robinson and Peacock. But Farrell is thinking all the time.
Super kick again by the skipper. Set plan move. Robinson trying for all the world to get there. It beats him. Anguish on his face. The seconds tick away. Bradford will stick it well and truly up the jumper now. There'll be no finesse from the Bulls. This is when the hard work is needed.
All that Abby Akoku needs to do is just pick himself up and play that ball. Robbie Paul to the try scorer, Matt Callan. He takes the tackle from Hall.
Well, this is the time where Wigan just have one-man tackle, try to pinch the football. They know that Bradford will go one out all the way through, and then it'll be the big kick.
2.5 minutes to go. I wonder what the nerves are like on that Bradford bench. Brian McDermott's there, suspended, of course. He's with Bill.
Tell you what, Eddie, the nerves are not good here on the Bradford bench. Is that right, Brian? Yeah, I don't care much for this watching game. It's terrible. It really has been a fantastic end to this game, hasn't it? Yeah, it's been everything it's been built to be. I think Wigan and Bradford always are. The boys have put a tremendous effort in tonight. You know, we've been on the rails a couple of times. We've had to defend for so many sets of 6, but they've come up with the goods. Still a couple of minutes to go. The way this game's gone, Brian, yeah, I don't want to speak too soon. Yeah, there's 2 minutes to go. We've scored 2 tries in nearly 2 minutes, so anything can happen, like you say. That's the sort of thing you want to see, a knock on. Oh, as I'm speaking, yeah, just what we want.
Just overran it, did Radlinski. Chance gone begging. They know that could have been the last toss of the dice. Bradford will not rush to pack down the scrum.
Just one handling error from Radlinski. That was it. And it came with about 1.5 minutes to go. Tomlinson from the base of the scrum bounces off Cardis. Tomlinson is in touch. Oh, the first tackle.
Well, he's had such a fine game, but why he didn't come back on the inside? He's made an awful mistake. They'll quickly take the scrum now.
This is not over yet, this.
What on earth must be going through the mind there of Glenn Tomlinson?
The last hurrah, and Wright punched the ball downfield. I think that was a little bit optimistic. That was so optimistic from Nigel Wright, because Bradford have got the ball back with Cook, and surely they will now play out their set of 6.
Well, they had 1 minute remaining. It wasn't as though there was only seconds.
No, it was cavalier, wasn't it? Far too cavalier from Nigel Wright.
The kick was supposed to be intended right into the far right corner for Robinson, and it was down the middle, and Bradford had 2 men back chasing.
They're 30 seconds away, Bradford, from their first league win here since 1988, and it'll be Wigan's second consecutive home league defeat, and it could be the end of their title ambition. Loughlin.
Keep hold of the football. This really has been a tremendous fight back by Bradford.
Last tackle here. They're in the last 5 seconds. Little chip over the top from Lowe's. The ball runs dead. And there's the siren. It's all over. And look at the emotion now on Matthew Elliott's face. A tremendous victory that looked away from them after 68 minutes when Tony Smith went over. The gloom on the face of Eric Hughes and Ray Unsworth and the entire coaching staff of Wigan. But the delight as Matthew Elliott signs the autographs, and Bradford Bulls have come up with perhaps the most significant result of the season thus far. A big effort from Bradford. They went 18-12 down, and then they hit Wigan with 2 tries in 5 minutes, and they've won the match. They have won a quite magnificent match between 2 pedigree teams. The Bulls march on in Super League. Well, we promised you a corker of a game, and we got one. Bradford have won it by 22 points to 18. Peacock with 2 tries and Callan, but it was the goal kicking from Paul Cook that won the game. Now then, who was man of the match? Andy Farrell, 36%. Holgate, 19%. Lowe's had a big game, 17%. And the others, 28%. So Andy Farrell is your choice as man of the match. He has had a great game, the Wigan skipper, in defeat. He's with Bill.
Congratulations, your video and another television, but that's a little consolation for losing what was a fantastic match to watch, but that must be desperately disappointing.
Yeah, very disappointed to lose it the way we did. I mean, you know, we played so well up to 10 minutes ago, and you know, that's how we lost the league last year, letting teams back into it when the game was already won. And you know, we've got to learn from this now, and we can't afford to lose again if we've got anything to do with the title. Was it lapses in concentration that cost you? It must have been. I mean, we all talk about playing for 80 minutes, but all credit to Bradford. They was coming strong, and you know, they was running hard and direct, and you know, the tries they powered over for them. But you know, maybe a little lapse of concentration let them in.
Well, the winner of the man of the match competition, the viewer, is Mark Collins of Wigan. They've won something tonight, but they haven't won this match, and what a match it was. Bradford have come up and they have maintained their 100% record here at Central Park, and their captain, Robbie Paul, is waiting for us. He's talking now with Bill.
A very tired Robbie Paul, I should think very relieved as well, Robbie.
I'm very relieved. It was tight there in the second half, but we stuck to our guns, played well, and we've come away with the win. And it's a hard thing to do here at Wigan. We've never done it before, so I'm happy with it.
It wasn't an immaculate performance by any means from the Bulls, but there was a lot of guts out there, wasn't there?
That's one thing that's special about our team. We play for each other. We've got a great team spirit and a great club spirit, and we've got a lot of pride, and I think it showed through tonight.
But would you agree that there were 1 or 2 errors as well?
Oh, there was a lot of errors, a lot of places we have to clean up, but that's part of the game, isn't it?
But this really can be a significant win for you and Super League.
It is. It's set a platform. I think we're on top of the table now, and I think we've got a goal now to stay there. It's what we wanted, it's what we've asked for, and now we're the only team that can do it for ourselves. If we're going to do it, we have to do it for ourselves.
Robbie, thanks very much indeed.
Cheers, mate.
Well, there wasn't much emotion, was there, on Robbie Paul's face, but I can tell you that they will be delighted in the Bradford Bulls dressing room. Paul Cullen, the assistant coach at Warrington, has been our guest throughout the course of the evening. You picked them, but at one stage it looked like it was going away from them, didn't it?
Well, that was a massive, massive victory for Bradford, but they very nearly paid the price for that indecision on the final balls, you know, especially in the first half, because Wigan, through Farrell, I think one of the genuine stars that Wigan still have in the ranks, who's uninjured and in form, very nearly pushed them all the way to the wire. You know, Farrell led the man of the match by a mile. From Bradford Bulls, though, that Glenn Tomlinson, I thought, was absolutely outstanding. So, you know, they very nearly paid the price, but what a great gutsy performance from Bradford, because they could have gone down in that second half.
Steve-O, how significant is this victory for Bradford tonight?
Oh, tremendous, because it showed not only their guts and determination, but when Wigan did take the lead, they had the foresight to just regroup, not panic, which they had been doing for most of the game, and they just went through the motion of playing their six. And it wasn't a coincidence that they scored those 2 tries on the power play on the last tackle. Some beautiful play by Paul, who was well looked after throughout this game, but he made the defence just stand off. Ball out wide, they score. It happened with Tomlinson. They expected Tomlinson to kick the ball high. He threw the dummy, sidestep, went through, out wide. Callan scores. You take your opportunities, and it will have done them a lot of good. The morale is very, very high. We've seen that already. But when you come back at Central Park, when it looks as though the game has gone away from you, that shows a sign of a very, very good side.
They're being tipped, aren't they, as possible double winners, Paul. Have they got that quality?
Well, I think any side that can come to Central Park, and to be honest, play quite poorly for patches of the match and still come away with a result like that, shows that Bradford have the ability to go all the way. And although I'm sure Matthew Elliott will be a greatly relieved man that they've come away with 2 points, he knows there's certain work to be done in areas, and Bradford can improve by 15–20%. They are going to be a major force.
Well, a couple of other important matches taking place tonight. Let's get up to date with those right now. First call, the Willows. Salford against Sheffield, reporting Alistair Mann.
A last-minute 35-metre drop goal from scrum half Ian Watson edged 100% Salford to a sensational victory at home to a gallant Sheffield Eagles. In a game neither deserved to lose, Watson kept his head on the last tackle to send almost 5,000 fans wild and the Eagles players to their knees in despair. Earlier, it has been the visitors who looked set for victory. Tries by Pinkney, Crowther and Senior gave them 6-4, 10-4 and 16-10 leads, but each time Salford found a way back through Steve Blakely's kick and try, and lastly, Peter Edwards' superb effort that once converted made it 16-all. Steve Blakely notched up his 1,000th career point tonight, but the Willows hero, unquestionably, the diminutive Ian Watson.
So Salford Reds 100%, Bradford Bulls 100%. How about the Saints? They were at Headingley against Leeds. Graham Beecroft reporting.
A pulsating game watched by 12,683 spectators and won by Leeds. But Bobby Goulding, with 2 minutes to go, leapt on his own stride kick to touch down close to the posts. But with a seemingly simple kick to win the game for Saints, Goulding hit the upright and the ball bounced wide. The boot of Justin Harris was a crucial factor in giving Leeds victory, kicking 4 penalties plus a drop goal. Paul Sterling and Apollo Perolini scored tries for Leeds and St Helens respectively in the first 40 minutes. Saints camped out in the Leeds half in the second period, but superb defence with Sterling and Blackmore outstanding gave the win to Leeds and saw St Helens beaten for the first time this season. Leeds 13, St Helens 12.
Well, I can't believe it. 2 matches that have been settled by just 1 point. And the table now looks like this. Bradford Bulls 100%. Salford Reds won't lie down. Saints have had their first defeat of the season. Paul Cullen, Steve-O, what a night for Super League.
Tremendous. What a night for Leeds, though. I mean, Justin Harris we saw last week. They were 1 point adrift. It was Wigan that got the points, but that must have been a tremendous match. Full credit to them.
What a night to miss the conversion in front of the post. Bobby Goulding will be tearing his hair out, Paul.
I'm sure he will. Justin Harris, star quality, genuinely world-class player. has proven he's paid back a massive chunk of that transfer fee. Good luck to the player.
Well, it has been a magnificent match. We're back on Sunday, Oldham against Paris. What a night this has been. We'll have more for you on Sunday, 6:30. Don't be late. See you at Boundary Park. From all of us here, we're breathless. Bye-bye.
Behind the cricket test. Many people in Britain saw it as an attempt to make black Britons forget their past and conform to a white concept of identity. Many black people feel, it seems, that however hard you try, you're never accepted as British. But what does being British really mean? What is it that we're being asked to conform to? When we look at national institutions and landmarks, we often glimpse a land of hope and glory, a Britain devoid of the complex divisions based on race, class, culture. On closer inspection, Britain's identity, as projected to the rest of the world, is surely a fragile one.
I believe passionately in our way of life. We would all say, if we were asked to say what is the characteristic of Britain, everyone would say the same. We're a free country, and we're going to stay that way. We take it for granted. It shouldn't be taken for granted. We believe in freedom and justice. We want peace with freedom and justice. We will argue our case for our way of life against anyone else in the world.
Romantic notions of Britain confuse a clear analysis of Britain's national identity. Lawyer and writer Anne Dummett has spent many years arguing from a broader perspective.
What people think about when they say people should assume British identity or be assimilated into it is very confused, I think, because there's never been a single British identity. And although in any century of the past you can talk about our national character, it changes radically from century to century, and it's changed radically during my lifetime.
You don't have to go too far back in history to realise just how mixed up the British nation is.
This country itself, if you look at it historically, not just over the past 200 or 300 years, but I mean 1,000 years plus. I mean, in terms of, you've had sort of people coming over from Europe, the Vikings, the Celts, and many other people who sort of landed here, colonised it, and what have you. I mean, including the Romans.
I don't know if they really ever had a true identity. I mean, who can really say they're truly British when they are, you know, some come from the Saxons, the Normans, you know, it doesn't exist.
British culture usually means something in the mouths of jingoistic people. Personally, I feel English rather than British. And being English means to me a tradition of being allowed to be eccentric if you want to do what you like. Other people aren't going to poke their noses into your life. It's nothing to do with telling other people they've got to conform, which this British culture idea seems to have. That's the opposite of what it seems to me this country is supposed to be all about.
Do we conform to the